Hi, good evening, everyone. Kindly let me know if my voice is clear and my screen is visible. You all can respond in the chat box. Let me know if my screen is visible and my voice is okay. You all can respond in the chat box. Do let me know if my screen is visible and my voice is okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you for your confirmation. Let me welcome you all on behalf of HR India Solutions. We are 10-year-old HR consulting firm, primarily into recruitment. We also take care of contract staffing and payroll management. We are also into HR advisory and consulting services. And we are also taking care of campus placement and HR practical training. This is all about us, HR India Solutions. And let me welcome you all again. Let me share you what exactly we are offering under online HR Generalist Practical Training Program. There are three modules. The very first module is of labor laws and statutory compliances. Under this module, we discuss almost all the important and major labor laws in India, right from Provident Fund and ESIC Act. And we understand PF and ESIC is applicable on which part of salary, how the monthly contributions are calculated, how the monthly challans are prepared, and finally, how these payments are paid to government by logging into government website. The other labor law which we cover are Maternity Benefit Act, and we understand which all female employees are eligible to get maternity benefit, and as a HR, what all benefit you should give to the women employee. The other labor law which we cover are Payment of Bonus Act and Payment of Gratuity Act, and we understand which all employees are eligible to get this benefit, how these benefits are calculated and paid. The second module which we have under this program is compensation and benefit, which is everything related to CTC and Excel designing and payroll management. And the things which we learn under this module are CTC structure and its component. We understand what is CTC, what is gross salary, what is net salary. We also see that how payroll can be managed in payroll software and how it can be done in Excel sheet. We also understand income tax, professional tax, loss of pay, overtime calculation and payment, leaves and holidays. And finally, we see that how full and final settlement of employees are done at the time of going. The last and final model which we have under this online HR generalist practical training program is of recruitment and selection, which is everything related to talent acquisition. And we understand things like job description and job specification. What are the various sourcing strategies nowadays corporate are adopting? We train people on Naukri.com, and one can become capable of finding suitable resumes from various job portals on the basis of various keywords, key skills, and job description. We also train on how mass mailing can be done so that your requirement reaches to good number of candidates, and what is the best way of doing job posting, whether you are posting on Naukri.com or LinkedIn. Nowadays, technology has started playing important role into recruitment. Nowadays, resumes are not getting screened and shortlisted by HR manager. It is technology which is taking care of everything. How various ATS, applicant tracking systems, and how various RMS, recruitment management software are working nowadays, we understand that. And then there is a dedicated session of CV writing and interview skills under this module. This is all about the course which we are offering. Let's start with today's demo. Before we start, just wanted to have an idea of the kind of audiences we have today. There would be a poll which would be appearing. Kindly respond to that. Let us know how much experience do you have in HR. The poll is live, everyone. Kindly share a response. How much experience do you have in HR? Let me end the poll and share you the result. 100% of the population are from freshers. So this is the audience today. Thank you everyone for your participation. Let's proceed. So today demo is on compensation and benefit management. No doubt compensation and benefit is one of the most important function of HR. Why it is important? Because compensation and benefit as a function of HR is responsible for deciding what to pay. Whenever any company goes for hiring any position or any person, this is the function of HR which decides that what salary should be paid to any position. CNB as a function of HR is also responsible for deciding how to pay. I am referring to designing of the entire package. What should be the breakup? How much should be fixed? How much should be variable is something which this function of HR decides. CNB as a function of HR is also responsible for deciding when to pay. I am referring to timeline or frequency. What should be the payment date? Whether the bonuses or performance incentives should be paid on monthly basis. There are good number of companies who are paying incentive on quarterly basis, and then there are good number of companies who are paying incentive on annual basis. So when all these payments should be made, what should be the timeline is something which compensation and benefit of HR is deciding. And finally, CNB as a function of HR is responsible for paying entire compensation and benefit to all the employees. This is why this function is very important. But this is not easy. Why it is not easy? Due to absence of law or the current act. Currently, there is no law in HR which speaks about CTC package or CTC NSA designing or salary breakup formation. We have labor law on provident fund, ESIC, maternity benefit, bonus and gratuity. Since we have labor law on these areas, things are very clear. We know that what all should be done and what all should be avoided. But when it comes to designing the compensation package or designing the salary breakup, there is no law. There is no law which is saying that CTC needs to be designed in this particular way. We have few law which is speaking about payment. Let's have a look on that. There is a law by the name of Minimum Wages Act. There is a law by the name of Payment of Wages Act, and we have law by this name also, Payment of Bonus Act, and there is a act by the name of Equal Remuneration Act. Let's see what all these labor laws are taking care of. Minimum Wages Act speaks about paying minimum wages to certain category of employment or workers. This act do not cover each and every person. The Payment of Wages Act speaks about timely payment. Payment should be made on time, and there should not be any illegal deductions from the salary is something which this act is talking about. But again, this labor law cover only those employees whose monthly salaries are 24,000 per month or less. The act by the name of Payment of Bonus Act speaks about bonus payment or profit sharing by the company. And again, this labor law do not cover each and every employee. This only cover those employees whose monthly salaries are up to 21,000 per month. The labor law by the name of the Equal Remuneration Act speaks about paying similar wages to all the gender. On the basis of gender, there cannot be any differentiation on salary or wages is something which this labor law is taking care of. All these four labor laws are getting combined into one, which would be known as Code on Wages 2019. This new labor law was supposed to come from April 2021, but things went on hold and it is still on hold. Whenever this new labor law would be coming, that would be taking care of entire all these four acts and they would be known as Code on Wages. So in today's demonstration, we would be understanding what is compensation and we would also be understanding what are benefits. We would be seeing how compensation and benefits are designed. What are the various steps and components which should be kept in mind while designing any compensation package. And we would also be understanding few real offer letters which has been issued by our client to our candidate. And we would be understanding how designing of compensation is different in different companies. And finally, we would be preparing a compensation and benefit package or structure in an Excel sheet for better understanding. Again, before I proceed, there is a poll. Kindly let us know the net take-home salaries of all employees getting a CTC of 10 lakhs in 10 different companies would be same or not. The poll is live, everyone. Whether the net take-home salary of all the employees working in 10 different companies but getting same CTC of 10 lakhs, their take-home would be same or not. The poll is live. Kindly share your responses. So let me end the poll and share you the result. 75% majority feels that no, take-home salary would not be same, whereas 25% of the population feels that yes, the take-home salary would be same. 75% majority feels that no, the take-home salary would not be same, whereas 25% feels that yes, the take-home salary would be same. The correct answer is no, the take-home salary of all these employees who are working in 10 different companies, even if they are working at same CTC, their take-home would not be same. Why it would not be same? Because CTC and Excel designing differ from company to company. And why it differ? Because there is no labor law which is saying that CTC or compensation package needs to be decided or designed in this particular way. In the coming slide, we would be understanding why it would be different from company to company. So let's try to understand what is compensation and what are benefit. Compensation is defined as the total amount of monetary pay provided to an employee. In other words, it is the money given for the work. So whatever money, whatever cash or whatever salary a person gets every month is called as compensation. If this is compensation, what are benefit? Benefit are all non-financial forms of compensation offered in addition to cash salary. Apart from monthly cash, monthly salary, or monthly money which the person are getting, they also get good amount of facilities and benefit from the company, for which they do not get any kind of money in their hand, but they enjoy good amount of perks and facilities. So if I have to define compensation and benefit in one line, it would be like this: the salary or money one gets is compensation, the facilities or perks one avail are benefit. Let's have a look on few of the example. Compensation, which is the monetary part of the package, things like basic pay, allowances, it can be travel allowance, meal allowance, housing allowance, or medical allowance, which are paid in the form of money, comes under compensation. All commissions, incentives, overtime pay, bonuses, profit sharing, stock options, all these things are paid in the form of money. Hence, they comes under compensation. Benefit, for which employee do not get any kind of money in their hand. These are non-financial forms of compensation. Things like holidays and leaves, welfare facilities and cafeteria, infrastructure facilities, reward and recognition, insurance and medical. Insurance and medical is something which is most widely accepted benefit in India. Almost all the companies in India are giving insurance and medical benefit to the employees, for which employees are not getting any kind of money in their hand, but they enjoy good amount of benefit or facilities. Retirement benefit, wellness, mental health. During COVID time, almost all the companies has gone for providing mental wellness program to the employees and health wellness program to the employees, for which they were not getting any kind of money in their hand, but it was a good facility to them. Few more example of benefits can be like this: health insurance, dental insurance, life insurance, which is almost given by all the companies in India, retirement plan, gym and fitness. There are many companies who are giving membership for gym and fitness club, which comes under benefit. Vision care, personal leave, sick leave, higher education. There are many companies who motivate their employees to go for higher education, for which employees are not getting any kind of money in their hand, but this is a good benefit or facility provided by the company. Child care, paid leave, and many more. Very similar to CTC and Excel designing, benefit also differ from company to company. There is no law which is saying that every company needs to provide these many benefits. Bigger company gives more number of benefit, a smaller company gives lesser number of benefit. Now, let's try to understand how compensation and benefits are decided. Whenever any company goes for hiring any person or any position, how they decide that what salary should be paid to that position. So the entire word compensation can be divided into two major categories. One is salary, another is wages. Salary is the term which is normally used for all those payments which are paid to management cadre of employees. And wages is the term which is normally used for all those payments which are paid to workers and laborers. So management people get salary and worker gets wages. Let's see what are the factors which are affecting decision of salary and wages. Cost of living or location. You will see that on the basis of location or cost of living, salaries and wages are decided. Whenever government is deciding wages for the worker, they are deciding on the basis of cost of living also. All those states which are costly in nature, like Maharashtra or Karnataka or Delhi, you will see that the salaries are slightly higher. All those states which are not that costly or poor in nature, like all eastern states, Bihar, Jharkhand, and West Bengal, you will see that salaries are comparatively less. Education and experience. You will see that on the basis of education and experience, salaries are getting decided. And wages are also getting decided on the basis of education. Whenever government is deciding wages for the worker, they are saying that for matriculate, this would be the salary. For graduate, this would be the wages. For postgraduate, this would be the wages. So on the basis of education, even the government is deciding different wages for different kind of worker. industries or ability to pay. You will see that there are many industries which are not doing that great. Industries like carpet making companies, textile industries, to some extent manufacturing industries, jute making companies. These industries are not doing that great in comparison to industries like telecom, health and insurance companies, healthcare companies, retail company, e-commerce company. These industries are doing great. So you will see that salaries are getting different in all those industries which are not that good doing, or all those companies, all those industries which are paying, which are flourishing like anything. So on the basis of ability to pay, you will see that salaries are differentiating. Whenever government is deciding the wages for workers, they are also deciding wages on the basis of industries. For agriculture sector, government is deciding a different wages. For manufacturing setup, government is deciding a different wages. And for mining industry, government is deciding a different wages. So on the basis of industries or ability to pay of the industry, you will see that salary and wages will be different. Supply and demand. When I am saying supply and demand, I'm referring to what is the demand of that particular kind of manpower in the market, and what is the supply of that kind of manpower in the market. On the basis of demand and supply of any particular kind of manpower or any particular kind of skill set, the salary and wages differ. Salary which are paid to management cadre is also getting decided on the basis of job evaluation, which is one of the most scientific approach of deciding what salary should be paid to any particular position. Job evaluation is nothing but comparative study of two jobs. You study two jobs and decide what salary should be paid. Under job evaluation, things like job analysis, job description, and job specification comes. Wages, labor union also play an important role. Whenever any government goes for deciding minimum wages for their state, they invite the important and major labor unions of the state. Minimum wages, the wages which are paid to worker, are normally decided by the individual state. Every state in India has decided minimum wages for their state worker. Maharashtra has decided minimum wages for their worker. Karnataka government has decided minimum wages for their worker. And similarly, Delhi government has also decided minimum wages for Delhi state workers. So this is taking me to a question for which I do not have any poll. I would request you to respond in the chat box. So the scenario is like this. Minimum wages of Bihar or minimum wages in the state of Bihar for unskilled worker is 7,956, which means if you are planning to hire any worker in the state of Bihar, this is the minimum salary which you need to pay. Paying below this in Bihar would be illegal. Minimum wages of Delhi for the same kind of worker is 16,064 rupees. You cannot pay less than this to any unskilled worker in Delhi. So the question which I want to put in front of you all is, if the same worker who is working in Bihar gets transferred to Delhi, do you think that this person would be getting higher minimum wages as per the minimum wages of Delhi, even if this person is not required to do anything extra, neither any extra skill set is required? Do you think, you can respond in the chat box, will this person who is getting transferred from Bihar to Delhi will be getting higher minimum wages as per the minimum wages of Delhi or not? Please share your response in the chat box. Yes. Okay, you all are responding as yes. So correct answer is yes, this person would be getting higher minimum wages as per Delhi. Now let me know why this person will be getting higher minimum wages in Delhi. He is not required to do anything extra, nor any extra skill set is required. Why this person would be getting higher minimum wages in Delhi? Correct, because of the government. Because government has decided higher minimum wages in Delhi, and which is decided on the basis of various factors which we have seen, location, cost of living. So you all are right. Yes, this person would be getting higher minimum wages in Delhi because minimum wages of Delhi is high. Now let me take you to another question. For this, I'm not asking for answer. This is a food for thought. Try to find out the correct answer, and we discuss all these possibility in the actual classes. So what if the same person gets transferred back to Bihar from Delhi? You increase his salary when the person got transferred from Bihar to Delhi. Now you are sending this person back to Bihar from Delhi. Can the salary be reduced? You increase his salary saying that minimum wages of Delhi is high. Now you are transferring him back to Bihar where the minimum wage is less. Can the salary be reduced? I'm not asking for answer. Try to find out the correct answer. Let's proceed for the time being. Thank you for your participation, everyone. So there is a poll which is happening again. There is no right or wrong answer to this. We conduct this survey just to find out what is the masses feeling. So let us know which is the must-have attribute to make someone the preferred choice during an interview. Is it communication skill, or it is practical skills and knowledge, or it is degrees and certification? The poll is live, everyone. Kindly let us know which is the must-have attribute to make someone preferred choice during an interview. Is it communication skill, or it is practical skills or knowledge, or it is degrees and certification? As I said, there is no right or wrong answer to this. This is a kind of survey which we normally conduct. So let me end the poll and share you the result. Majority 63% is voted for practical skills and knowledge, whereas 25% is voted for communication skill. It is surprising to see that only 13% has voted for degrees and certification. As I said, there is no right or wrong answer to this. We conduct a survey just to have a people's feeling. Let's proceed for the time being. So this is one of the most important uh, section of this presentation. Now, when the company has decided that this much salary should be paid to any person, how the entire compensation and benefit package is designed. There are 5 steps of designing the compensation package or process of compensation and package designing. If you follow all these 5 steps, your entire process of designing compensation and benefit package would be complete. In the very first step, you decide the fixed salary or base pay to the person. Under this step, you take a call on these 2 things. You decide what should be the basic salary and what should be the DNS allowance or DA if it is applicable. DA or DNS allowance is something which is normally found with government organization. You will hardly find DA with private organization. So in the very first step, you decide that what should be the basic salary for the person and DA if it is applicable. Once you are done with this step, second step is to work on allowances. Whatever allowances your company is giving, you need to divide the salary into those allowances. Allowances differ from company to company, and it is purely a choice of the company to decide what allowances they want to pay. Allowances can be in the name of house rent allowance, conveyance allowance, medical allowance, special allowance, telephone, internet, others. So allowances differ from company to company. Whatever allowances which your company is giving, you need to divide the salary, rest of the salary into all these allowances. Once you are done with these 2 steps, third step is to work on retirals or statutory contributions. This is something which you do not decide. This comes from the laborer point of view, and you calculate the cost. Whatever your company would be contributing to government authorities for this employee, you include the cost of that. The various things which comes under statutory contributions are Provident Fund, PF, which is called as PF also, ESIC, their labor welfare fund, gratuity and bonus. PF and ESIC is something which is applicable to all the states in India. It is universally applicable in entire country. Labor welfare fund is state specific. Labor welfare fund is implemented in few limited states only. If it is applicable in your state, you need to add the cost of this or contribution of this. Gratuity and bonus are something which differ from company to company. There are many companies who add gratuity and bonus. There are many companies who do not add gratuity and bonus in the CTC annexure. So both are correct. That depend upon the company choices. So whatever contribution or whatever expenses which your company would be making to government for this employee, you need to add that. Once you're done with these 3 steps, the fourth step is to add the cost of perks and benefit which your company is providing. The various things which can come under this are medical insurance, life insurance, club membership, vision, higher education. If your company wants to add the cost of benefit which they are providing to the employee, you can add the cost of that. Once you're done with these 4 steps, the last and final step is to add the variable pay or incentive. If the position is something which is required to achieve certain kind of target And on the basis of achievement of that target, if the person is getting paid, you can add the cost of that. The various name given to variable pay or incentive is performance incentive. Many company call it as PLI, which stands for performance linked incentive. Many company call it as performance bonus. Many companies are paying bonus on company's performance and not on individual performance. And there are many companies who are paying bonus on long service. So these are the 5 steps of designing compensation package. If you follow all these steps, your entire process of designing compensation and package would be complete. So whenever you are going to design the compensation package, the model of CNB package can be of various types. There are various compensation models. The very first model is traditional model. Traditional model of compensation package is a model in which entire compensation and benefit structure is decided by the company and the employee has no choice. We would be seeing an example of this. Second model is flexible model of compensation package. Under this model, employee has the freedom to choose salary component. Employee gets some choices to decide how the salary should be paid. The employee is free to decide the component and the amount as well. You would be seeing an example of this as well. And third, obviously, is a combination of both. So this is an example of traditional model of compensation package. In this salary structure, the basic salary and all allowances are decided and fixed by the employer or by the company, and the employee has no choice. Employee cannot change any of these components. Neither employee has freedom to modify these amount. Everything is decided and finalized by the company. Hence, this is called as traditional model of compensation package, where employee do not get any kind of freedom. This is an example of flexible model of compensation package in which company has decided to pay 60,000 per month to the employee. Out of 60,000, company has decided that basic salary would be 25,000 and rest amount of 35,000 would be put under flexi compensation. Now, the employee is free to take this 35,000 among any of these allowances. If employee want, the 35,000 can be distributed or divided among 2 allowances. If employee want, employee can divide 35,000 among 4 allowances, and employee is also free to divide 35,000 among all the allowances, which means employee has the freedom to choose their flexi component. On what all salary heads the person wants to take salary would be decided by them. What all amount the person wants to take would again be decided by the employee. So employee gets a freedom to decide their salary component and salary amount. Hence, this is called as flexible model of compensation package. This model is very much in use nowadays, and almost all big and good companies are going for flexible model of compensation package. There is a poll again. I am not expecting correct answer from the freshers, so but let's take a try. Now the question is, can basic salary and monthly gross salary be the same? Let me share you 2 examples. There is a company who is giving offer letter like this. Basic salary is 45,000, HRA is 0, conveyance is 0, and monthly gross salary is also 45,000, which is equal to basic salary. There is another company who is giving offer letter like this. Only basic salary is mentioned in 50,000, which is gross salary also. So the question is, can basic salary and monthly gross salary be same or not? The poll is live, everyone. Kindly share a response. Let me end the poll and share you the result. Majority 57% has voted for yes, basic salary and gross salary can be same, whereas 43% has voted for no, basic salary and gross salary cannot be same. I am getting few questions in the chat box. I will be responding to all your queries. Give us some time. Let me finish all the slides. So correct answer is yes. Basic salary and gross salary can be same. Paying allowances are purely a choice of organizations. Any company who do not want to pay any allowances are free to do that. All those companies who want to pay allowances can do that as well. So allowances are purely a choice. Paying or not paying would be decided by the company. So yes, basic salary and gross salary can be seen. Both the salary structure which is flashing on the screen are legally correct. Let's proceed. Thank you for your participation. Let's try to understand few real offer letters which has been issued by our client to our candidate And we would be seeing that how CTC annexure designing differ from company to company. This is first offer letter. In this, company is offering a total CTC of 30 lakhs 30,008 rupees. This is the total CTC company is offering. And company is also mentioning that net in hand salary would be 1 lakh 7,034 rupees. You will see that at the bottom blue box, company is mentioning that there will be an additional monthly deduction towards Mediclaim insurance, which means this company is providing the facility or benefit of Mediclaim insurance, but they are taking this contribution from employee salary, which means the net in hand salary will further go down. Whatever is mentioned is not correct. You will see that in the red box, company is mentioning things like you are also eligible for max performance linked quarterly incentive of 66,500. You will also be eligible for max performance linked bonus of 2,66,000, which means this company is not taking variable pay into CTC. All these are performance bonus or incentive payment, which are not added in the CTC annexure. Variable pay is not a part of CTC in this company. You will see that provident fund contribution is 1,800 only. PF is 12% of basic salary. Basic salary here is 55,417. So if you calculate 12%, it would be much higher. But company is saying that only 1,800 would be contributed as provident fund, which means this company PF is capped on 15,000 or PF is limited on 15,000. This is legally correct. A company can decide to pay provident fund on 15,000 only, and they can say that over and above 15,000, we would not be paying PF. This is legally allowed. You will also see that bonus is something which is mentioned in the gross salary. Bonus is a statutory compliances or retirement benefits which comes after monthly salary, monthly gross salary. But bonus is a part of monthly salary in this company and is not a part of annual CTC. You will also see that gratuity is something which is nowhere mentioned in this offer letter. This company is not including the cost of gratuity in CTC. Somebody has inquired about gratuity. I will be briefing at the end. Gratuity is a law in India. Gratuity needs to be paid. I will be explaining at the end. Let's have a look on second offer letter. This is second offer letter, which is of a US MNC. They are one of the biggest FMCG company in India. So in this offer letter, company is saying that there is a component by the name of leave travel allowance, for which company is asking the employee whether you want to take this money as leave travel allowance or you want to convert this into monthly special allowance. So there is a choice with employee for only one allowance. Rest all other are fixed and decided by the company. This is an example of combined model of compensation package. You will also see that provident fund contribution in this company is 4,434, whereas basic salary is only 36,950. Basic salary is lesser than the previous one, but PF contribution is more than the previous offer letter, which means this in this company PF is not capped or PF is not limited on 15,000. This company is paying provident fund on the entire salary, which is legally correct. You will also see that gratuity is something which is mentioned in the offer letter. This company is including the cost of gratuity in CTC. Gratuity is a part of CTC in this company. In previous company or previous offer letter, gratuity was not mentioned. As I said few minutes back, gratuity and bonus is something which is added by 50% of the company, and 50% of the companies are not adding bonus and gratuity. Both are correct. Let's have a look on last offer letter. This is very much flexible in nature. The company is offering 10 lakhs to the person, and out of 10 lakhs, company has decided 3 lakhs 50,000 as basic salary. The rest amount of 5 lakh 8,000 has been put under flexi compensation. Now, employee has a choice to choose salary account under what all name they want to take the salary and what all amount they want to take under those names is something which will be decided by the employee. Provident fund is a part of CTC and which is not capped at 15,000. This company is paying provident fund on the entire basic salary. Performance incentive or PLI is a part of CTC in this offer letter. In the very first offer letter, we have seen that PLI or performance incentive was mentioned at the bottom in the red box, but in this company, it is added in the CTC. This is another way of making offer letter. And you will see that this company is not adding the cost of any of the benefit which they are providing, neither insurance nor accidental insurance or not, medical insurance. Gratuity is, this company is also providing gratuity, but they are not adding the cost of this. This is another way of making offer letter. So let's go into Excel, and whatever we have seen, the 5 steps of CTC and Excel designing, we would be doing that. I hope I am back on, I am on my Excel sheet and it is visible to everyone. So let's try to suppose a company has decided to pay 21,000 per month as CTC to any employee. How this 21,000 per month would be further broken into other component. So we have seen that the very first step was base pay. Under base pay, we decide basic salary. So what should be the basic salary? Basic salary currently is kept as 40 to 50% of CTC. This is something which is done by almost all the HR professionals. Why 40 to 50%? There is no law which is saying that basic has to be 40 to 50% of CTC. But this is happening as a practice since long and everybody is following this. Otherwise, there is no law which is saying that basic has to be 40 to 50% of CTC. Let's try to follow go with the practice, whatever everybody is doing, and decide the basic salary for this person. Let's decide 50% of CTC as basic salary. And we have decided basic salary for this person as 10,500. We are done with the first step. DA was also there, but DA is something which is normally found with government organization. In private organization, you will hardly find DA. So we are ignoring DA. And we are done with first step. We have decided the basic salary. Second step was working on allowances. Whatever allowances your company is doing, you can add the cost of that. Let me pick one allowance, which is very much common in all the companies. Almost all the companies are going for this allowance, which is house rent allowance. House rent allowance, how much amount we should keep? House rent allowance is kept as 40 to 50% of basic salary. Why it is kept as 40 to 50% of basic salary? This is getting decided from the income tax point of view. If you keep 40 or 50% of basic salary as HRA, that amount would be tax free. So let's decide, and 40% is decided for all those employees who are staying in non-metro city. 50% is decided for all those employees who are staying in a metro city. So if the employee is residing in a non-metro city, you should keep 40% of this as HRA, and this employee would be getting this money as a tax-free money. There would be no income tax on this. 40 to 50% is getting decided from the income tax point of view. What other allowances you want to pick? Anybody who can suggest me, I would be taking that. If not, let me take one. You can go for telephone allowance as well. What amount should come? Any amount which seems logical to come under this. Let's keep 800 as telephone allowance. This is 800 is logical amount which can come under a special telephone allowance. So we are done with second allowance also. Let me take third allowance, which is again very much common in nature, and almost 90% of the HR professionals are picking this, which is special allowance. Trust me, there is nothing special with special allowance. This special allowance is used as adjusting or difference amount. Whatever amount adjusting or balancing, whatever amount would be, whatever amount which would be coming as a difference at the last, that amount would be added here to match the CTC figure. This is why almost all the HR professionals are picking a special amount. There is nothing special. This component is used as adjusting or balancing amount. So we are all, and this is left blank for the time being. We are also leaving blank whatever amount which would be coming at last as a difference. We would be putting that into this. And we are done with the first two steps, basic and allowance. If you add the first two steps of CTC and Excel designing steps, you would be reaching to monthly gross salary. Let's calculate what gross salary we have reached. We have reached to 15,500. We are going to calculate or make a breakup of 21,000. And a third step, we have seen that it should be statutory compliances, whatever contribution which your company would be making to various government authorities, you can add the cost of that. Company make contribution on PF by company, and companies are also making contribution to ESIC government. So provident fund is contributed as 13% and not 12%. It is 12 plus 1, which is 13%. Companies are contributing 1% more to PF department. This 1% extra is contributed on account of EDLI contribution, which is a life insurance coverage for the employees, and PF admin charges. 0.5% contributed as PF admin charges, and 0.5% is contributed in the name of EDLI insurance. So every company contribute 13% to PF department. So let's calculate 13% of this. So company would be contributing 2015 rupees to PF government for this employee. Let's calculate ESIC. ESIC contribution is 4.50 of gross salary. So every company contribute, okay, it is 3.25. Sorry, 3.25 is something which is contributed by company for this employee. Let's calculate 3.25. So company would be contributing 504 rupees to ESIC department for this employee. ESIC and PF are labor laws and they provide good amount of benefit to the employees. We have dedicated classes on Provident Fund and ESIC Act. So these two statutory contributions or legal contributions would be made by company to government for this employee. And on account of this, the employee would be getting good number of benefit. You can add other thing also. We have seen that gratuity and bonus are something which is added by few companies, and there are many companies who are not adding that. So let's ignore this, but if you want, you can add the cost of these as well. In the fourth step, we have seen that the cost of benefit can be added if your company is providing any benefit to the employees, and if you want to add the cost of that, you can do that. Let's assume that the company is providing medical insurance to the person, and for which the company is spending 200 rupees every month. So you can add the cost of this. And we are done with fourth step also. The fifth and last step was variable pay or incentive. If this person is required to achieve certain kind of target, and on the basis of achievement of that target, if the person is getting paid, you can add the cost of that. Let's assume that if this person achieves the target, he would be getting 500 more. So we have added the cost of variable pay also. Now we are done with all the 5 steps. Let's see where exactly we have reached. Let's calculate the CTC. CTC is employer contribution plus monthly gross salary. So we have reached to a CTC of 18,719, but we are looking for a monthly CTC of 21. So there is some difference. Let's see, 21,000 minus 18,719. There is a difference of 2281. Now this special allowance cell has become active. Now what this HR professional would try to do, this gentleman would try to add 2281 here to reach the desired figure of 21,000. Let's see, by adding 2281, we are reaching to the desired figure of 21,000 per month CTC or not. No, we have not reached. We have exceeded that. So there is an excess amount of 370. Now what this person would be doing, he would try to subtract 370 to match 21,000. Let's see whether we are getting 21,000 as CTC or not. Again, there is a difference. This person would be adding 60. Again, there is a difference of 10. Let's subtract 10. Again, there is a difference of 2. Let's add 2. Again, there is a difference of 1. Let's subtract 1. And now we have reached to the desired figure of 21,000, which we were looking for. But we have done good number of manual activities. Let me move to my another Excel sheet, which is automated CTC calculator. This is made on advanced Excel, and the entire sheet is formula driven. Go to any cell, you will see that some kind of formula is labeled. HRA, this is the formula. Provident Fund, this is the formula which is applied. ESIC, this is the formula which is applied. Gratuity, this is the formula which is applied. Every cell has got some kind of formula in it. So entire sheet is formula driven. Let's try to calculate the salary breakup of 21,000, which we did in the previous sheet. So there is an option by the name of data. Go into data. Data is having an option of what if analysis. Go into what if analysis. What if analysis has got 3 options. Select goal seek. Goal seek would be asking you 3 things. Set the cell. Select, which means Set the cell means select the cell in which you are looking for value. I have selected the cell cost of the company. Second question which Excel is asking me is to value. What is the value which you are looking for? We are looking for 21,000. I have mentioned that. And third and last question which Excel is asking me is by changing cell. Excel is asking me to allot a cell which would be used by this Excel, and they would try to reach 21,000 CTC by putting different value in that cell. I am allotting this cell to Excel. I have answered 3 questions. Set the cell, select the cell in which I am looking for value, the value which I am looking for, and I have allotted a cell to the Excel for calculation purpose. So once I click OK, you will see that the entire breakup of 21,000 per month CTC would be getting calculated automatically. Give a closer look. Let me click OK. So we are done. 21,000 is CTC and this is the breakup. PF, ESIC, gratuity, everything is calculated. Even we have calculated the net take home salary. Let me give you another example. So under data, what if analysis is there? What if analysis would be asking you, would be giving you 3 options. Select goal seek. Goal seek would be asking you 3 things. Set the cell or select the cell. Select CTC wala cell. To value, what is the value which you're looking for? Let's have some odd figure, 889967. Which means 8,89,967. This can be a CTC for some person. And again, as a third answer, I am allotting this cell to the Excel. And once I click OK, you will see that we would be getting a salary breakup of 8,89,967 rupees per month CTC. Let me click OK. So we are done with the entire breakup. This is the CTC, this is the entire breakup, this is the PF, this is the gratuity, everything is calculated. So we have calculated the entire breakup in a click. Now, it is not always CTC on the basis of which salary is getting decided. There are high chances that you are deciding salary on the basis of take home. You are deciding that, okay, we would be paying 55,000 or 50,000 to this person. Now, on the basis of take home salary, how you would be deciding the breakup? Again, same formula. What if analysis, select goal seek. Now, at the time of selecting cell, in spite of selecting cost of the company, select net take home salary. You are looking for value in this cell. Now, what is the value? What is how much take home you have decided? You have decided to pay 50,000. So I have mentioned 50,000. I am looking for value in this cell, take home salary. This is the value which I am looking for. I am allotting this cell to Excel. Now, Excel would be calculating a salary breakup where 50,000 would be coming in hand. See, 50,000 has come as take home salary. Cost of the company is 54,996, for which we were not very concerned, and the monthly gross salary is 51,800. This is how the salary should be calculated, or CTC and Excel should be designed. In our actual classes, we teach people to create or design these kind of Excel sheets. In the very beginning, I have asked a question whether the take home salary of all the employees would be same or not, who are working in 10 different companies, but they all are working at same CTC. So this is the answer. There are 3 companies, company A, company B, and company C. All these companies are giving a CTC of 7 lakhs. All these 3 companies are giving 7 lakhs. But in this company, company A, the take home salary is 49,313. Company B is giving a take home salary of 44,995. And in company C, the take home salary is coming as 38,991. Even if the CTC is same, the take home salary is changing. Take home salary is not same with all the company. Why it is not same? Because CTC and Excel designing is differing from company to company. This company has not included gratuity, neither Mediclaim nor GPA. This company has not included variable pay. This company is calculating provident fund on some other part. So CTC and Excel designing differ from company to company due to absence of law. This is why it is very difficult to say that what would be the take home salary. With the same CTC in different company, there would be same take home. It would be very difficult to say. So this is what I wanted to share from my Excel. And these are the various possible allowances which you can include in the salary breakup. This is the monthly salary. If you add monthly salary with employer contribution, employer spend money on these things: PF, ESIC, gratuity, bonus, labor welfare fund, medical insurance. If you add the cost of these, you would be reaching to CTC. These are some tax-free allowances which we discuss in detail. If you go for these allowances in the salary breakup, the person would be getting good amount of benefit. His salary would be not taxable. So this is what I wanted to share from the Excel. Let me move to my PPT. So the various part of CTC are like this. This is the monthly salary offered to the employee. This is the salary the company is offering to the employee. These are the employer contribution. This is the cost employer is incurring and they want to show. Showing or not showing is purely an employer choice. Few companies are mentioning gratuity, few companies are not mentioning gratuity. Not showing or not mentioning is not an excuse to avoid law. All those companies who are not mentioning this, they cannot say that we had not mentioned gratuity in the offer letter, now we would not be paying you. Showing or not showing is company's choice. Paying or not paying comes from the labor law point of view. And there are many companies who are also showing employees' contribution and they are mentioning take home salary. These are purely optional. If you want to sue, you can do that. If you do not want to sue that, if you do not want to sue that, there is nothing wrong. So if you want to pay 50,000 per month to any employee, 50,000 can be paid in this way. This is legally correct, where there is only one component and basic salary and gross salary are same. So this is legally correct. 50,000 can be paid in this way also. And if you want to pay 50,000, that can be paid in this way also. And 50,000 per month salary can be paid in this way also. All these salary breakups are legally correct. There is nothing wrong. But if you want to pay 50,000 in this way, or in this way, or in this way, these are wrong. These are legally wrong. You cannot go for these kind of salary breakups. And your actual classes, we understand that how various type of salary breakups can be made for same CTC. Let's skip this poll. So this is only a demo of compensation and benefit. We also cover statutory compliances and labor laws. So from the labor law point of view, there are a few highlights which I want to show. 80 days of working makes a female employee eligible for maternity benefit. This is as per law. Any woman employee who has worked for only 80 days becomes eligible for ask for maternity benefit. Maternity benefit is leave for 26 weeks. Salary up to 21,000 per month, basic or DA are legally eligible for bonus payment. There is a labor law by the name of bonus payment, but bonus is legally eligible for only those employees whose monthly salaries are 21,000 per month or less. Anybody who is getting more than 21,000, they are legally not eligible to ask for bonus. Gratuity is payable before 5 years in case of death and disability. Gratuity is a law in India. Gratuity is paid only after completion of 5 years. Government is saying that anybody who has completed 5 years in any company should be paid gratuity. Gratuity is an amount paid by gratitude, by choice. For appreciating the employee, the company pays a lump sum amount to the person only when the person completes 5 years. And this is a law. Once you complete 5 years with any company, the company cannot deny paying you gratuity. So gratuity also becomes payable before 5 years only in the case of death if the employee has died or the employee has become disabled. So gratuity is a lump sum payment benefit paid to the employee once the employee completes 5 years with any company. And the bonus act, which is legal bonus, employee companies cannot deny paying that. Only 30 days of working makes an employee eligible to get the bonus. If you have worked with any company only for 30 days, you would be legally eligible to get the bonus from that company. And as per Provident Fund Act, even after retirement, there can be a scenario where the person is still continue after the retirement. So even after the retirement, if the employee is still continuing, the contribution for employee will continue to go in Provident Fund, but the pension fund gets stopped. These are labor laws. I have covered maternity benefit, bonus act, gratuity act, and PF, everything. Only ESIC is left. So these are few law which you should know as a benefit. Now these are food for thought. Again, this is a homework for everyone. Try to find out the correct answer or right answer to this. Can an employee apply for sick leave in advance? Try to find out the right answer. Can an unmarried woman ask for maternity benefit? Try to Google it out. Is it mandatory to pay statutory bonus by loss incurring company? If the company is incurring loss, is it mandatory to pay bonus? Because bonus is profit sharing. and company is not incurring profit. Are men allowed to take children to the company's creche or daycare? The creche facility or daycare facility which company is providing, are men allowed to take the children? And this is something which is for experienced people only. As a freshers, it would be slightly difficult. Can you exclude a person from provident fund if the basic salary in DA is less than 15,000, but the monthly gross salary is more than 21,000? So we have seen that, we have seen what is compensation. We have also understood that what is benefit. We have seen what is the process, how CNB is designed, what are the various steps, and what all component we should keep in mind while designing the compensation and benefit structure. We have understood various offer letter which is differing from company to company, and we have prepared one CNB structure in Excel sheet for better understanding. So this is what I wanted to share in today's demo session. We have seen the COVID impact, so many layoffs, so many job firings. This would be continuing in future also. So what the time ahead is, what companies are becoming very choosy, and they want to hire the best. Company are merging multiple jobs, multiple roles, and they are creating one. Preference would be given to all those people who are multi-skilled and trained. We know that survival of the fittest, we need to remain updated and skilled. By remaining good at one function of HR, going far would not be possible. If you're good at recruitment, you need to become good at other part of HR also, compensation and benefit or labor law. Supply of talent is more in the market than the demand. We know that the supply has increased like anything, and the demand has not that increased. And company do not want to spend much time and money on training the person. Everybody is looking for those kind of people who are skilled and ready to start working from day one. Through the survey, we have seen that it is practical skills and knowledge, those are important. So let me thank you for your time and enhance your skills and knowledge. This is the punchline of Delhi government, which says that skill hai to kuch nahi mushkil hai. Let me share your course content and the fee detail. There are three modules: labor laws and statutory compliance is the first module. Second is compensation and benefit. Third is recruitment and selection. If you add the individual fee of these modules, the fee would be somewhere around 5,000, but discounted fee of 3,600 is there. Entire course can be done at a nominal fee of 3,600. Some more important points are like this. Course duration is 10 classes, 24 hours course. Classes happens on only Saturday and Sunday, and the timing are 4 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Study material is given on each and every module and topic. Access to all live class recording. Whatever classes we conduct, entire classes gets recorded, and you get the live recording of the class on the very same day, which remain with you, and you can watch that recording for n number of times as per your convenience. We conduct practice tests to see whether the learning is going in right direction or not. During the tenure of 10 classes, there would be 4 practice tests. These are practice tests, and we conduct this just to see whether the learning is going in right direction or not. And then there is a certificate after the completion of training, which is ISO 9000 certified one. And we also support offline doubts and clarification. If you have any clarification doubt, you can speak to any of the faculty anytime to understand or clarify that. So, okay, this I already said. Let me share how the course flow. We start with module 1, and after completing 5 classes of module 1, we move to module 2. And there are 3 classes for module 2. After completing module 2, we move to module 3 of recruitment and selection, which has got only 2 classes. After completing module 3, again we move to module 1. And in this circular way, the course keep on going. Admission can be taken when we are starting module 3. Admission can be taken when we are starting module 2, and admission can also be taken when we are starting module 1. The next admission is happening from Saturday, which is 27th November. And from this Saturday, 27th November, the course is starting from very beginning, from module 1. This is one of the best date to start the course. So these are the sample certificate which we issue. These people are flashing it on LinkedIn. People are saying that now they are HR journalists, professionals. These are some few more certificates and appreciation. People are sharing it on LinkedIn. We were invited by Aligarh Muslim University for this webinar. We were also invited by Sri Siddhi Vinayak College for the webinar. And recently we went to ISM Patna to conduct this webinar. Over to you, everyone. Let me share you this. This is the discounted fee. Now over to you. Anything which you want to understand from the course or anything which you want to ask regarding the demo class which we have